So what I'm going to share in this video, I hope is going to be a bit of a light bulb moment. It's one of those things that once you see, you can't unsee. And I find it a really fun and interesting thing to get into. And it's really going to take us really nicely from that deeper dive work we were talking about in regards to niche and lead us really nice into messaging. Those two things go really nicely together. So it's a very common mistake that I see people make, no matter what kind of industry or niche they're in. But it's about trying to think that what you do is your niche. And it's a really clear distinction. Your niche isn't about you and what you do. It's about the person, your ideal person that you want to work with. So breath work isn't your niche in the bigger kind of wellness area. It's not like, oh, well, there's a whole wellness industry and my niche is kind of breath work and I can help everyone doing breath work. Breath work is your modality. It's how you do what you do. Your niche is who you help and the problem that you solve. So it's really good once you get that understanding in place and you implement that through all your kind of marketing and your content that you make, the emails you put out, any kind of, if you're doing talks to corporates or what you're potentially kind of pitching a yoga studio that you can come in and maybe do some sessions with their team or whatever it is. If you can get this idea always within your content that you're creating, it's really, really going to help. A great test is if somebody finds your Instagram and reads Breathwork Practitioner, that tiny little line, you get one little kind of line on your Instagram profile to say what it is that you do or whatever it is. Breathwork Practitioner, does that tell them anything about them? It tells them about you. It tells them that you are a breathwork practitioner, but it doesn't say whether you can help them. So that's usually it's about that person and not the person you're trying to help. So let's look about this in a little bit more detail. So when you're writing things about what you do, let's look at the difference between that modality, but then if you can switch that into niche plus outcomes. Every time you write something about your modality, think about, does it actually need to be niche plus outcome? So I offer breathwork practitioners. Much more powerful when we say, I help anxious professionals sleep deeply and feel calm again in 6 weeks without medication. So you've got your niche there, the anxious professionals, you've got the outcome. They're going to sleep deeply, they're going to feel calm, and they don't need any kind of, sleeping tablets or beta blockers or any of those kind of things. That is what people will connect with, not the fact that you offer breathwork sessions. I have seen this before. I offer breathwork for healing and alignment. Absolutely gorgeous, love it. But what does that mean to most people? You could say, I help new mums feel calm in their body and patient with their children again. Obviously, if that's the niche you're going down, but you can see how that really would, as a new mum, that's what you're going to understand. You're going to go, your whole body's going to go, oh yeah, that's exactly what I want. What about nervous system breath work? You want to work in corporate, you want to work in professionals. You know that for most of them, their nervous system is going to be a little bit shot and running high and all that kind of stuff. You can say you can offer them nervous system breath work, which they won't really know what that's about. Or you could say, I help corporate teams reduce stress and improve focus so that they perform at their best. So hopefully it's a really clear way. So anytime you're writing anything or thinking about what you do and your modality, just see if it's going to be much more powerful and much more impactful if you change that to niche and outcome. So all industries, all niches, everything that is out there, that's being sold, that's being offered, everything comes down to they'll fit into one of these 3 buckets: either health, wealth, or relationships. Literally everything being sold out there will fit into one of these 3. The reason being that as humans, these are the 3 areas of our life that we have the most kind of problems with and that we have the most aspirations for. So we all experience problems around health, wealth, and relationships. We all want to have better health, have more wealth, have, more connective relationships. These are things that kind of mean something to us as humans. The great things is that breathwork can touch all 3 of these. If you think even about wealth, it's like if you wanted to go down that corporate route, the fact that you can help people perform better has a wealth implication. Now, it might not be the thing that that corporate professional will want in the messaging. They don't necessarily want to, their performance isn't just about making more money. That's what the business might want for them. They just might want to feel better, to be able to lead better, to be able to be more present. But that will still come under wealth in terms of kind of that corporate performance. So everything will come into one of these three buckets. The question is, which one are you focused on and for who? So this is a great framework that dives into this in even more detail. I've gone with kale versus chocolate. Now, this kind of explanation, the way of explaining it, I'm sure lots of you have seen kind of many times. It's a really great way of explaining it. This title of using like the foods, the kale versus chocolate, I think I got from a coach called Emily Todd. I think she used broccoli versus red velvet cake, I think it was. I've gone with kale versus chocolate. But what it's about is this, the difference between what you need and what you want. So it's just a really good way of kind of explaining this. So kale, this is what we need. We need the process, the modality, the jargon, breath work to regulate your nervous system. That's what we need. We need breath work to regulate our nervous system. Now, nobody really wakes up or walks around saying, oh, I really want to regulate my nervous system. I mean, actually, I have said that because I'm aware of nervous system regulation and things. I can tell when I'm getting a bit, I need to regulate myself. But for the majority of people, they won't know that. They will just know that they're feeling more anxious, that they're not sleeping properly, and they're not being very present and all those kind of things. So what they need is the breath work to regulate their nervous system, but what they want is the feeling, the outcome, the life change. They want to wake up feeling calm. They want to sleep through the night. They want to stop snapping at their kids. Those are the things that they're Googling, in the middle of the night or whatever it is. They're not Googling breath work, how to regulate your nervous system using breath work. But they might be like, how can I feel calmer? How can I stop snapping at my kids? What are great ways to sleep through the night? Those kind of things. So it's the need versus the want. Another really, really important thing to think about when you're working on your messaging and diving deeper into your niche is you want to speak at you want to speak at their level and not yours. So quite often what I'll see in lots of kind of posts and content is people, and this happens actually more in the wellness industry than any kind of other industries. You wouldn't believe actually how much jargon we have within the industry. Even like the phrase of, I'm going to breathe so-and-so. I breathed a client yesterday. That's not how, normal people talk. That's how breath workers talk. So we want to really be aware of our language. So as a trained practitioner, we might see the meta pattern, the nervous system, the trauma release, the limiting belief, all of those kind of things. But if you market to that, if you say things like somatic healing for nervous system rewiring, which I've actually picked out from a sales page that I saw for a breath worker, somatic healing for nervous system rewiring. The problem is, and I mean, obviously on a sales page, maybe somebody will be a bit more aware, they will be a little bit more educated, but definitely when we're on our social posting, where it is all about awareness and getting to speak to people at that kind of top level, the client won't be walking around thinking they have a nervous system issue. Most of them will not even know that's what's going on. They know they can't sleep. They know they feel anxious at work. They know that they're snapping at their family and their partner and their kids and things. So we want to market to the symptom that they're aware of and not the root cause that we think it might be. We don't want to get into all of that root cause kind of messaging until much deeper into our content or when we're speaking to them and working with them. But at our social media level, when we are starting off conversations, when we're trying to connect with people, make sure you market and speak to your client at their level and not yours. So using the right words. So this is a great framework for building your niche and for easy steps. There's something I'm going to come to on step 2 that's just another thing that's come to me, but let's just focus on this building your niche in 4 steps first of all. So step 1, who? The specific person that you want to work with, stress professionals, new mums, corporate teams, who are you going to be working with? Now, what problem are they experiencing? They can't sleep, they feel anxious, they're burning out. What's the outcome that you're going to help them get? What tangible result? What can they hold on to that you're going to help them get? They're going to sleep better, they're going to feel calmer, they're going to be more present. And that modality, how you're going to do it, goes last. So using breath work. This is the vehicle and not the headline. That's not what you start with. With all your marketing, anything that you're creating, really try and focus on them and not you. So this is an example in action. I help stress professionals who can't switch off after work to sleep deeply, feel present, stop feeling one email away from burnout using breath work. So that's a really, really great framework that you would want to try and build out. Now, just an additional, this step 2, what problem, in their words. When you come to this, it's worth actually writing out as many problems as you can think of, all the problems that they will be feeling. You can probably list at least 20 different things that they will be experiencing, which is great. Because out of those 20 things, you can probably create about 3 or 4 different posts out of those 20 different problems. And therefore, you're going to have 100 kind of post ideas. This is just around I know people get stuck sometimes with, well, what am I going to say? Working out the top problems that your ideal client is experiencing is a great kind of source of, well, here's a whole bunch of posts you can create. Now, obviously, we don't want to always focus on the negative. We don't want to always be kind of talking about fear and problems and, all those kind of things. So as well, then once you've written out all their problems, do a similar length list of all their aspirations. What are they dreaming of? What do they really want? And each of those things will also give you can probably write another 3 to 5 posts on every single one of those. So do that. You've got 200 post ideas that you can always come back to. So that's just an additional there. So like everything, as I said right at the beginning, don't wait until you've got this kind of perfect niche, until, when you're working through this course, it's like, okay, I've got to get this perfect. I've got to do that. I've got to understand this. There's so much that you're learning, so much that you're doing. The most important thing is to get started, to create some momentum and iterate as you go along. So start somewhere specific, make a decision, begin. Look at kind of what response you get, who pays attention, who books, all of those kind of things, and you can refine from there. Don't forget, done beats perfect every single time. Okay, so just to wrap this up, you want to always lead with the outcome and then wrap it with breath work at the end. So focus on who you're trying to help and what results and transformation you can get, that outcome that you can get with somebody, and then wrap it with breath work. And then further on along the line, you can talk a little bit about yourself, your credibility, and how come you're the right person for them. But don't lead with that. Don't lead with the modality, lead with the transformation. Breath work is your superpower. Their result is all you need to focus on in your messaging. Get this right, and you will really attract those kind of ideal clients and those people that you really want to work with.